3 days after her death, Aurora's deactivated camera revealed photos she never took, and what appeared in them will freeze your blood. What if I told you that death doesn't erase your conscience? Butrivials, what have you always ignored? That there's a dimension where your silent choices echo like thunder, where every neglected moment returns as a spiritual lesson, and where a simple camera can become a bridge between worlds. The story you're about to hear will challenge everything you believe about life, death, and what truly happens when the heart stops beating. Aurora died on an ordinary Tuesday without drama, without warning, but 3 days later, her switched-off camera began to reveal photographs she had taken. Never she had taken pictures of moments she had lived, but never actually. It saw, and what these photos showed changed not only her understanding of life itself, but it can change yours too. Before we continue, if you believe there is something beyond the veil of death, like this video now, and subscribe to the channel because what comes next will open your mind to dimensions that science has not yet reached. Hit the bell so you don't miss any journey like this. Now take a deep breath and get ready to cross the veil with Aurora. Aurora felt no pain when everything went dark. It was like pressing the off button on an old device. A soft click, followed by absolute silence. But what came next wasn't the emptiness she had imagined. There was no eternal darkness. No white light at the end of a cinematic tunnel. There was something far more disconcerting. She was still conscious, her thoughts flowing as if nothing had changed, except that now time no longer ran. It merely observed. The first question arose, inevitable and terrifying. If I'm dead, why am I still thinking? The answer came not in words, but in direct understanding, the kind of knowledge that bypasses the brain and settles directly in the soul. Aurora realized that everything she believed about death was wrong. Consciousness didn't depend on the body, the spirit wasn't a poetic metaphor, and if the self continued to exist after the last breath, then what else was wrong about the life she had lived? That's when Aurora noticed. The camera she floated there, suspended in the space between what was and what could be. An old digital Nikon she had carried for years, recording mundane and extraordinary moments without distinction. But now the camera seemed different. It shone with its own light, as if it had become something more than an object. It was as if each photo she had taken in life had left an invisible mark, a thread of memory that now connected two worlds separated by the thin line of death. Miguel made a gesture that Aurora interpreted as an invitation. The camera began to rotate slowly, and images appeared on the viewfinder, photographs that Aurora. Never she had consciously taken pictures, scenes she had never revealed, moments captured by a lens that saw beyond the visible. They were not merely records of the past, but truths which she had ignored while she was alive. The camera was no longer just a device. It was a portal, a bridge between the life she had lived and the understanding she was only now beginning to grasp. The first photograph that appeared on the camera's viewfinder made Aurora's spiritual heart clench. It was a scene from breakfast, 3 months before her death. She sat at the table, looking at her cell phone while Sophia, her 7-year-old daughter, tried to show her a drawing. Aurora vaguely remembered that day, but in the photo there was something she hadn't seen at the time. The sparkle in Sophia's eyes slowly fading, second by second, while her mother remained distracted. That moment had gone unnoticed in her life, but now it echoed like a silent cry for attention that never came. The images kept coming, one after another. Not just real photographs, but moments of awareness that the camera had captured in some impossible way. There was her father's hurt gaze during a banal argument about politics, a friend's restrained tear when Aurora canceled yet another date because she was too busy, her husband's forced smile pretending everything was all right when it clearly wasn't. Each image was a lesson she had ignored, an opportunity for love she had let slip by, a small but decisive choice that had shaped destinies. And now they were all returning, not to condemn her, but to teach her something only death could reveal. Miguel stayed by Aurora's side throughout the viewing, radiating a peace that contrasted sharply with the emotional turmoil she felt. He didn't speak, but his presence conveyed everything. There was no judgment there, only understanding. When Aurora tried to apologize for the flaws the photographs revealed, Miguel simply touched, or the spiritual equivalent of, her essence, and she felt a wave of unconditional acceptance. He wasn't there to condemn her mistakes, but to help her understand them, because understanding, she now realized, was the true purpose of that journey. With each new image that emerged, Miguel remained serene, like a beacon amidst the storm of memories and emotions. Aurora realized that he was not a divine judge weighing sins on a cosmic scale, but rather a companion who had already made that same journey. He knew the pain of recognition, the shame of seeing his own flaws exposed, and the redeeming beauty of finally seeing clearly. His silent presence spoke louder than 1,000 sermons. You are not alone in this, and what you are about to discover is not punishment. It is liberation. The photographs continued to emerge, but now with a different intensity. They showed not only the lost moments, but the unseen consequences of each silent choice. There was the time Aurora chose to answer work emails instead of going to Sophia's recital, and the camera revealed the girl looking at the empty audience where her mother should have been, swallowing her disappointment with a brave smile. There was the dinner where she argued with her husband about something trivial, without realizing he was trying to gather the courage to share a deep fear. Every small decision, every unspoken word, every postponed hug, all had created waves she had never seen expanding. Guilt came like a wave, but Miguel touched her essence again, and Aurora understood something fundamental. It wasn't about self-punishment, but about recognition. She wasn't bad. She was human, distracted by the false urgency of daily life, blind to what truly mattered while pursuing what seemed important. The silent choices weren't crimes, they were missed opportunities for love. And now, even after death, there was a chance, perhaps the last, to acknowledge these truths, to feel the real weight of each neglected moment, and to transform regret into wisdom that would echo beyond the veil between worlds. Of all the images that emerged, one was repeated with greater frequency and intensity. Sophia, the 7-year-old girl, appeared in dozens of spiritual photographs, playing alone while her mother worked, asking profound questions that Aurora answered hastily, sleeping embraced by a pillow that smelled of her mother's perfume. Aurora realized with painful clarity that Sophia was not just her daughter. She was the most powerful bond that tied her to the material dimension, the invisible cord that pulsed between two worlds. Even in death, Aurora felt the girl's presence like an emotional anchor that refused to let go. Miguel watched as Aurora gazed at the images of Sophia, and for the first time she felt something beyond peace emanating from him. It was urgency, there was something unfinished there, a spiritual knot that needed to be untied before Aurora could move on. The love between mother and daughter didn't end with death, but transformed into something more complex. A bond that required elaboration, mutual forgiveness, and a form of farewell that transcended the physical. Sophia was still alive, dreaming of her mother every night, and somehow Aurora would need to find a way to say what she never said. I saw you. I see you. And even from here, my love for you is eternal. Aurora extended her essence toward the floating camera, and for the first time since waking up on that plane, she felt that she could act each time the screen displayed a new image. She heard a subtle sound, click, as if the camera were capturing not just memories, but decisions which she was now doing consciously. Pressing that invisible button ceased to be a technical gesture and became an act of profound acceptance. Yes, I saw that. Yes, I recognize it. Yes, I learn. Each click was a micro-death of the ego, a detachment from who she thought she was to embrace who she truly was. Miguel watched with something that seemed like pride as Aurora clicked image after image, no longer running from painful truths, but plunging into them with growing courage. She understood that those clicks not only revealed the past, they transformed her awareness in the present. Each acceptance, each recognition, each spiritual tear shed over a lost opportunity was a step toward something greater that she couldn't yet name. The final click was near, Aurora could feel it. And when it came, nothing would be the same, neither in the plane where she now lived, nor in the world where Sophia still dreamed of her mother every night. The last photograph that appeared on the viewfinder was not of a specific moment, but all his life framed within a single, impossible image. Aurora saw her 34-year existence not as a chronological line, but as a luminous mosaic where each choice, each word, each silence formed a pattern that only now made complete sense. Death had not erased her story. It had revealed her meaning. It was as if she had spent decades looking at a painting inches away, seeing only smudges of paint, and only now, from far enough away, could she see the complete masterpiece that had always been there. Miguel finally spoke, not with words, but with a thought that echoed in Aurora's soul like a crystal bell. You didn't die to disappear. You died to learn to see. And in that instant, as the camera dissolved into golden light and the photographs merged into pure understanding, Aurora grasped the ultimate truth. Life was not a rehearsal for something greater. It was the lesson itself, photographed frame by eternal consciousness. And now, with her eyes finally open, she was ready for the next click, the one that would take her beyond all she knew, toward the luminous mystery that awaited on the other side of the revelation. Aurora's journey shows us something most of us prefer to ignore while we're alive. Every moment matters, every choice resonates, and consciousness doesn't die. It simply wakes. The camera that revealed the impossible photographs wasn't magic. It was a spiritual mirror, showing what Aurora always had before her eyes but never truly stopped to see. And now I ask you, if you died today and a camera revealed all the truths you ignored, all the hugs you postponed, all the words of love you left unsaid, what would those images show? How many Sophias are there in your life waiting for you to truly see them? See, death is not the end. It's merely the moment when you finally see with complete clarity. But what if you didn't have to die to learn this lesson? If this story touched you, like this video now and leave a comment. What is the photograph of your life that you most fear revealing? Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell for more journeys that expand your consciousness beyond the veil. Share with someone who needs to hear this today, because maybe, just maybe, you are someone's Michael, guiding without judgment, loving unconditionally. Remember, you are not here to accumulate days, but to see each moment as it truly is, sacred, precious, and eternally captured by the invisible camera of consciousness. Until the next journey.